Horror movies. My favorite type of movie genre has always been horror. I love all these movies and they scare the crap out of me and I absolutely love it. But sometimes there are these movies that aren't meant to be scary, but are just downright terrifying. When I think of those types of movies, the first one that comes to mind has usually always been Pinocchio from 1940. Now, that doesn't sound right. A movie by Walt Disney that's actually terrifying? Oh, okay, let's check this out. So thanks to the release of Disney Plus, I was able to go back to this movie and watch it again. I remember it scaring me a bit when I was younger, but until recently I haven't felt the need to watch it again. But it came up with Disney Plus and I was like, oh, okay, here we go again. And I watched it again and wow, it's pretty damn terrifying. Pinocchio starts off all happy and magical like most Walt Disney movies do. And well, it's easy to see this movie as a happy jolly movie about some wooden doll who's just trying to live. You should all know the story of Pinocchio by now, but if you don't, here you go. It's about this old guy who makes all these fancy things made out of wood, and I have to say they're quite incredible. You got clocks and, well, just clocks by the looks of it. Amongst all these fancy dancy clocks, there is a puppet who the old man calls Pinocchio, and that very night the old man wishes that this puppet will become a real boy. And well, it just so happens some fairy shows up and decides to grant the old man's wish and give Pinocchio life. She also makes this cricket become Pinocchio's conscience, and yeah, I don't really get that part either. And it becomes the cricket's job to tell Pinocchio the right from wrong, and just to make sure he doesn't get into too much mischief, which happens anyway. But anyway, Pinocchio must earn the rights to become a real boy, which he must do by being kind and truthful, and easier said than done for the most part. I guess the movie is trying to be about childhood innocence. I mean, Pinocchio only truly wants to do the right thing and make people happy, but he's just surrounded by a bunch of assholes. First real day of being alive, he is sent to school, and well, he's really happy about it. Unfortunately, along his way, he bumps into two crooks who want to use him to get some money at a circus.
A wooden boy!
And Pinocchio, being all happy and jolly, wants to do some good, so he believes that it's the best thing to do. Jiminy Cricket manages to catch up to them, but is unable to convince Pinocchio that joining the circus is not the right thing to do, so they just keep on going.
Bye, Jiminy! Bye!
Goodbye. Huh?
And I
Goodbye?
For me.
Hey,
I'm
no!
so happy.
You can't go.
Okay? I'll watch you go
Very
for the
good.
diamond.
This is when the film starts to take a dark turn. Pinocchio, being this wooden boy who doesn't need any strings to operate, is put into a puppet show run by some crook who's just an asshole, and forces Pinocchio to dance for free. Pinocchio, being all young and innocent, sees the crowd loving his act, so he believes he's doing the right thing, so he goes along with this crook, only to be locked up in a cage because Pinocchio wants to go along and tell his dad what he's doing. And well, if the crook loses Pinocchio, he loses his entire business, so that's a bit of a problem for him. Later that night, Pinocchio's dad just suddenly realized that Pinocchio never came back for dinner, so he goes on now to try and find him as any parent would, but doesn't manage to find him. Pinocchio and Jiminy Cricket are now depressed pretty much, and are once again visited by the fairy, who then reveals to us one of Pinocchio's superpowers. Whenever Pinocchio tells a lie, his nose will grow, and this helps him to realize that he's been doing the wrong thing, and well, they together break free of this cage and start to venture back home. You know what, I kind of like that. Pinocchio's nose grows when he tells a lie. I mean, it teaches kids not to tell a lie, otherwise their noses will grow. But that just begs the question, alright? So you get it, his nose grows when he tells a lie, alright? But what happens if he was to say, my nose will now grow? I mean, if it doesn't grow that instant, it means he was telling a lie. But if it does grow, that means he was telling the truth. So I want to see that happen in a movie. I want to see Pinocchio say that line, and I want to know what happens. Does the world end? It damn well better. Pinocchio, who is now on his way home, is bumped into once again by those two crooks from earlier, who then sell Pinocchio to some evil corporation who master in kidnapping kids and send them off to some sort of island where the kids are under the impression they can have the time of their life. But in reality, the kids are drugged and are turned into donkeys who are then sold as livestock to any person who wants some donkeys. Pinocchio makes a friend on this island who he is then forced to watch helplessly as he turns into a donkey, and this scene right here is pretty freaking dark for a Disney movie. Jiminy Cricket manages to find Pinocchio before it's too late, and he only has ears and a tail to show for it, and together they escape. With the help of a teleporter, they finally make it back to their home, only to discover that the old man is now missing. The house is completely abandoned. Completely clueless as to what's happened, some mysterious dove shows up and drops a letter for them to read, and it reveals as to what's happened to the father. And yeah, it's quite dramatic.
It's a message.
What's it say?
It's about your father.
Where is he?
Why, it says here he went looking for you, and he was swallowed by a whale.
Swallowed by a whale?
Yeah, uh-huh. A whale? A whale named Monstro.
I'm just gonna pretend that actually makes sense, just for the sake of it. To hell with it. So anyway, Jiminy Cricket and Pinocchio then set off on another quest to try and find the father. And we get this pretty cool underwater scene. It just sounds pretty damn neat.
Father! Father! He ain't my father. Mr. Geppetto!
Can you tell me where we can find Monstro? Gee, they're scared.
Oh, a fish scared of a whale named Monstro? Pfft, give me a break. I doubt they could be that scary. The camera then likely takes us inside the whale's mouth, and yeah, that letter wasn't bullshitting us. That whale really did swallow the old man, and his cat, and his goldfish. What the hell? Some fish then swim by and wake up the whale, causing the whale to open its big ass mouth to swallow that fish. Pinocchio, who was just standing there, manages to get caught in the whale's grip, and is swallowed as well. The old man is trying to capture some fish so he has some food to eat, and manages to catch Pinocchio at the same time, and they have some big family reunion.
Pinocchio!
Father!
Pinocchio! My son!
Hey, Father! Here I am.
Huh?
It doesn't take long for the father to realize that Pinocchio is pretty much half donkey, but this is quickly forgotten. I mean, I guess they had bigger problems being trapped in a well and all, but he could have at least mentioned how and where he got these donkey powers. I mean, those poor kids, they are still trapped there. Needing a way to escape the whale's mouth, they decide to set fire to the ship that's keeping them alive. And while this causes a lot of smoke to be adrift in the whale's mouth, but this pisses off the whale, and this is where the movie for me became a nightmare. The whale then chases the living crap out of Pinocchio and the old man, and holy hell yeah, this scene's pretty damn terrifying. How was this alright for a Disney film? It's bloody terrifying. After some more really terrifying whale chasing imagery, our heroes manage to escape, but at the cost of Pinocchio's life. That's right, that's him face down, lifeless, just drowning. I mean, yeah, the fish, cat, old man, even the cricket survive, but our good old Pinocchio boy, he dies. And that's pretty messed up. So our heroes are now trapped on an island. How are they going to escape, you may ask? Well, thanks to the magicalness of movie editing, we will never find out. They just appear back at the house, Pinocchio's still dead, and rightfully so, everyone is depressed. They're all upset that our hero, Pinocchio, is dead. But that's okay, because the fairy then grants the old man's wish for true this time. Pinocchio is then instantly transformed into a real boy. Pinocchio had to die to earn the right to become human. How about that? They all rejoice and the movie ends as they live happily ever after. Or do they? No, really, they do. They're happy. Well, there you have it, folks. That was the 1940s Pinocchio. Now you might be asking yourself, how was that so bad? Why is that considered as the darkest Disney movie of all time? Was it because of the whale? Was it because Pinocchio died and was then transformed into a real boy? Or was it the whole story about being kidnapped? To me, the reason why this film is considered as the darkest Disney movie of all time, it's probably got something to do how there was one thing that was never completed or concluded. That island of all those missing boys is still there. No one went out to stop them. Pinocchio didn't tell anyone as far as we know. So, as far as I'm concerned, those boys are still being transformed into donkeys and sold to whoever wants donkeys. And that's pretty damn upsetting. All those families out there with missing sons and daughters will never know what happened to their precious little child. They're donkeys. And that, my friends, is why Pinocchio is considered as the darkest Disney movie of all time. Messed up. I have to say, I kind of liked it with all that aside. The music was great, had some great scenes. Yeah, I liked it. It was just weird. But anyway, there was another movie out there that some people recommended to me. I mean, I have pet rabbits. I love rabbits. So people say, you should watch this movie called Watership Down. So anyway, I have it here. I managed to find it on eBay. So let's pop Watership Down and check it out. How good could this movie be about rabbits?
A few moments later.
What the fuck was that?